Hello friends. So today's topic is about debate continues towards the Human Development Index. Okay, so mainly the debate regarding the human development. So in the previous class we discussed about Human Development Index, right? So first time the Human Development Index was proposed by UNDP, United Nations Development Program. Okay, so it commissioned one team for consensus. Okay, and it started to measure the development of economy. Okay, especially this development leads to social and economy development. Okay, so what constitutes development? So this is the main important issue under the UNDP. So after evolved also there were so many debates among the countries. Okay, so even though there were so many experts around the world, they have been debating on this issue. Okay, so by 1995 economies around the world had officially accepted the concept of human development by UNDP. Okay, so mostly by 1995 all the economies of the world had officially accepted the concept of human development, especially the human development was propounded by the UNDP. Okay, so it means that particular concept was accepted by all the economies of the world. Okay, by 1995. So even the UNDP designed one human development report was used by the World Bank also since 1990s. Okay, so from 1990s onwards, so World Bank also started to using the human development report whenever it uses. Okay, so basically the UNDP proposed one thing, so, and developmental efforts of the member countries and cheap developmental funds were allocated in accordance. Okay, and it also started to giving loans to the developing countries for their development. So, whenever there is a underdeveloped country, so here World Bank is giving some amount of the money to the particular countries to get out of the depression of particular countries. Okay, so that's why here World Bank also from 1990s onwards, so it started to adopting some important features from the Human Development Index which was proposed by UNDP. So naturally, so the member countries of UN, so it started to emphasizing on parameters like income, next education and life expectancy. Okay, so it means there are so many parameters, but naturally the member countries started to adopting some important parameters of income, education and life expectancy. Okay, so whenever there is a policy making, so in their own country, so there is a need to promote some policies towards the development. Okay, so in that time the member countries started to adopting so these parameters in their policy making. Okay, so it means that so many countries adopted the parameters which proposed by UNDP. Okay, so in this way the idea of human development index got obligatory. It means legal or voluntary acceptance around the world. It means almost all the countries accepted so these type of the parameters. So for many years, so experts and scholars they came up with their own versions of the defining development. Okay, it means not only UNDP followers, but so many countries are there. So some countries they came up with the new versions of the developmental objectives or features, especially for defining development. So they gave unequal weightage to the determinants. Okay, for example, so on the basis of the UNDP we taken the three important factors like health, education and standard of living on the basis of the purchasing power parity. Okay, so these are the indicators or parameters to measure the development, right? So whenever comes to the other countries who always criticized the UNDP's parameters, so the defining development on the basis of the parameters which may leads to the unequal weightage to the determinants. Okay, even sometimes they selected completely different parameters. So it means sometimes so they selected different parameters which could also denote development in a more suitable way. Okay, so it means almost they selected some different parameters as compared with the UNDP parameters. Okay, so mostly so many countries they started to giving the different types of the parameters towards the human development. So most of such attempts were not prescriptions for an alternative development index. It means there was no successful story behind the different types of the parameters. Okay, so it means there was no index was alternative development index. Okay, but they were basically trying to show some incompleteness of the human development index. It means some countries they criticized the human development index which was proposed by UNDP. Okay, so that's why they try to show the incompleteness of the human development index. It means they need to show the incompleteness. Okay, so the first attempt was made by economists and scholars of London School of Economics in 1999. Okay, so it means the so many attempts were happened to show the incompleteness of the human development index which was proposed by UNDP. Okay, even though there's so many scholars have tried to show. So in that time 1999, so there's so many scholars and economists from London School of Economics, so they came with one example or one conclusion. So that is, so Bangladesh was the most developed country in the world. So whenever comes to the United Nations, Norway, Sweden getting the lowest ranks in the index. Okay, so this was the example which came up with the new intention towards the human development index. Okay, so basically coming to the point, so it is very much possible to come out of such index. So for example, so peace of mind is a necessary element, right? So it means not only growth, not only development. So on the basis of the human development, here peace of mind is very important and a necessary element of development. Okay, and betterment in the human life. So without peace, so we cannot live. Okay, so here life expectancy also very important. Whenever we are very peaceful in the life, so our life expectancy also will increase. Okay, so here peace of mind is very important. So it means it depends on how much sleep we get every day. Okay, so here peace of mind is very important and it's one of the factor, so how much sleep we are getting every day. So for example, house theft, burglary, so are major determinants to show the sleepless nights. Okay, so since the minor thefts and burglaries are unreported, it means some minor thefts also they cannot go to the police stations for the file of a complaint. Okay, so whenever there is a minor cases towards the theft, so they're not going to the police stations. Okay, whenever they go the police stations, so the human development index will record everything, but so some minor thefts they cannot be recorded in the police stations. So in that time the surveyors try to know such cases with data. So that data is related to how many logs were to be sold in a year. Okay, so why we are buying logs? So to protect our houses from thieves. Okay, it means it is one type of the fear in the society. Okay, so whenever there are thieves, so we cannot live proper way, we cannot sleep. Okay, so the so many sleepless nights are there, so whenever there are so many thieves in the society. Okay, so there's many factors which affects the development, not only the parameters which concluded in the human development index proposed by UNDP. There's so many factors which affects the development. Okay, so, as per experts, so such other determinants affecting our living conditions. Okay, so not only important three factors which affects the development, but there are so many important determinants which affects the living conditions of the humans. Okay, so So for example, first one is cultural aspects of the economy. Okay, so here culture is very important. So here cultural aspects of economy will affect the development. Next, purity of environment. So here environment is very important. So on the basis of the human conditions and industrial functions, so our environment is disturbing. Okay, so here without pollution we can live. So with pollution we cannot live with healthy. Okay, so it means here environment is very important, it plays a major role in the society. So here purity of the environment also will affect the development of an economy. Next one is aspects related to the rule and administration in the economy. So it means here rule and administration, on the basis of the ruling, on the basis of the administration which is going in the economy is very important, which affects the development. Okay, and people's idea of happiness and prestige. So people's happiness is very important, and ethical dimensions. So ethics and morals are very important in the society, so which affects the development. Okay, it means there's so many determinants, so there's so many factors which affects our living conditions. Okay.